Hello, and thank you for joining us today in our study of the book of Psalms. Today we're in Psalm 65, and as we examine this psalm, we see one that is, in some ways, not necessarily unique in the Psalms, but one that is distinctive for its purpose. Many of the Psalms, much like many of our prayers, have specific things that are being asked. Situations that are going on, things that need a response from God, blessings that are sought after. But this particular psalm is one of those that is simply given as a means of offering praise and adoration to God. It is designed to simply thank God for who He is and to praise Him for what He does. So let's look at what David has to say in Psalm 65. Beginning in verse 1, we read, Praise is awaiting you, O God, in Zion, and to you the vow shall be performed. O you who hear prayer, to you all flesh will come. Iniquities prevail against me. As for our transgressions, you will provide atonement for them. Blessed is the man you choose and cause to approach you, that he may dwell in your courts. We shall be satisfied with the goodness of your house, of your holy temple. By awesome deeds in righteousness you will answer us, O God of our salvation. You who are the confidence of all the ends of the earth, and of the far-off seas, who established the mountains by his strength, being clothed with power. You who still the noise of the seas, the noise of their waves, and the tumult of the peoples. They also who dwell in the farthest parts are afraid of your signs. You make the outgoings of the morning and evening rejoice. You visit the earth and water it. You greatly enrich it. The river of God is full of water. You provide their grain, for so you have prepared it. You water its ridges abundantly. You settle its furrows. You make it soft with showers. You bless its growth. You crown the year with your goodness, and your paths drip with abundance. They drop on the pastures of the wilderness, and the little hills rejoice on every side. The pastures are clothed with flocks. The valleys also are covered with grain. They shout for joy. They also sing. As you examine this psalm, you have here several levels of praise for God and the recognition that God will be there and all that God does. In the opening statements of the psalm and in the first several verses of the psalm, yes, there is the recognition that God is going to continue to watch over and keep those who are servants of his, and that he will continue to overcome the oppressors. But I want you to notice what is stated in verse 5. There David says, By awesome deeds in righteousness you will answer us, O God of our salvation, you who are the confidence of all the ends of the earth and of the far-off seas. There is a trust and a satisfaction in the power of God, the awe-inspiring ability of God to take care of every situation. By awesome deeds in righteousness, doing what is right, acting according to what is right, God is able, David says, to do great things, to be of assistance in magnificent ways, to be able to do things that man cannot even think of in his own mind. He goes on to talk about how that God is one who establishes the mountains, he being clothed in power, that he is able to still the noise of the seas. He deals in the farthest parts. All of these different things are attributes of how God's power is far reaching, and he can reach into every aspect of things to be able to use his power to help others. And so you have this mindset and you have this mentality that the power of God is not limited to a single location, nor is it limited to a single person or to even a single group that he can help. But rather, David talks about the awesome deeds that God is able to do in righteousness for those who are serving him, the ones who are focused upon him. But then I want you to notice how he shifts it at the end of the psalm. The last several verses of the psalm are not about God's relationship with man, but rather they're about God's relationship with the rest of his creation, with the world around us. He makes the statements beginning in verse 9. He says, "You visit the earth and water it, you greatly enrich it. The river of God is full of water. You provide their grain, for so you have prepared it." And on he goes about the ways that God takes care of his creation. You know, God cares about what it is that he made. And while he also asks us to take care of what it was that has been entrusted into our care, that we are supposed to be those who care about his creation as well. Ultimately, he is the one who, David says, takes care of his creation. He sees to it that things are taken care of, and that they are watered, and that they are settled, and that they are prosperous in their own ways. And so you have God who is not just concerned with man, but he is also concerned with the world that he created. And so it is that the pastures are clothed with flocks, the valleys are covered with grain. They shout for joy, they also sing. There's another psalm that talks about the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork, Psalm 19. And while the heavens declare his glory and the firmament shows his handiwork, the earth shows his handiwork, God also works to retain their beauty and their glory. And as such, there is something truly to point us to God, but also to be thankful for. When we look at the beauty of the world around us and the things that God has made available to man, it should cause us to be deeply thankful. These are some of the things that I see in Psalm 65. I hope that they are beneficial to you. Thank you for joining us for the video today. Next time we'll come back and we will look at Psalm 66. I hope that you'll join us then. But until then, have a great day.